I'm Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog at KIX96country.com. Our guest today, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, by way of, I believe it's Ohio, am I right?
Cincinnati, yep.
The great state of Ohio. Please welcome Kyle English to KIX Country. How are you, Kyle?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
All right. So whenever I meet anybody from Ohio, and I wanted to be sure before I say, I'm also a child of the Midwest.
Okay.
And I almost always meet Ohioans. You call yourselves Ohioans?
Yes.
Ohioans?
Ohioans. Man.
And Ohioans are very proud. You know, they love Ohio. Ohio is a beautiful state.
Yes.
And they talk excessively about how much they love Ohio and how they miss Ohio when they're not there. They love going back. And I listen to them and I smile and I say, I'm a Midwesterner too. Guess where I'm from? And they go, where? And I say, Ann Arbor. And then we get that face.
You're one of them. You're a Michigander. well, I will blow your mind. I'm from Detroit.
Oh, be still my heart.
Now, I left when I was real little.
But you don't care.
But my family is still, they're all in the Dearborn area.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, Ann Arbor is not that far. See,
Nope.
here I thought I was going to get that antagonistic reaction,
Yes.
Because you say Ann Arbor and
Yes.
anybody from Ohio just goes,
Yes.
because Michigan,
and Ohio State. Yep.
Which that game's coming up in a couple of
Yep.
weeks. So I've wasted enough time talking about where we're from because I'm
really.
I'm proud of the Great Lakes in that area.
But you've probably bumped into what I bumped into. Like when you're from Cincinnati, you're too far south for the north.
Yes.
You're too far north for the south.
Yep.
You called us Midwesterners, but we're not really. Like when you get to like Minnesota and see those, we don't really do that whole sort of thing, And anybody from either coast, so we're kind of just.
You're right. He's absolutely right. In that very strange place, and Cincinnati's like right there on the Kentucky border.
Yeah.
Like you go not even an hour south of Cincinnati, and you're in Kentucky.
Well, technically, we are far from northern Kentucky.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're not technically south, deep South Ohio. We're far from just because. Again,
does Cincinnati actually cross the Kentucky state line?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. But
there's the river. There's a river. Yeah.
I mean, it's really Cincinnati's really that close.
Yeah.
But and I think that's a great lead in to learning who Kyle English is and understanding your musical influences and why you came. Because the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of really amazing music that has come out of Kentucky and that area. So you had to have growing up been subject to a lot of that. What would you say was your earliest inspiration into the world of music? What said Kyle, come to music?
Metallica.
Oh,
Guns N' Roses.
This guy, I think I just met my best friend.
Except I can't sing like that.
Well, you don't have to. You look like Kirk Hammett. I mean, we were all thinking it. He looks like Kirk Hammett. He looks like you're like Kirk Hammett's little cousin.
For once, I get to say I'm taller than somebody by a big margin too. And what is he, like 5'7"?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I wouldn't tell him that.
Yeah,
no,
he plays bigger than that, but
he absolutely does. So okay, we're both metal fans. Metallica, AC/DC are two of my favorite bands of all time. But you're not playing metal. I mean, you said you don't really sing that. I mean, but
no.
Rock and metal, they vocally there's a sliding scale of sound, but you landed into country music. Why country then?
Loaded question. And I think like the gateway for me would be Bob Seger.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that would be the gateway. And if you look at like classic rock and you look at what current country is now and has it's evolved, there's a massive classic rock influence. And if you're looking even at like Southern rock, and you can see how Southern rock left its influence on guys like that are doing the current country thing. And we're not even talking about even some of that Nico Moon, more R&B influenced country, And so being from Cincinnati, like all those little things that we've talked about, growing the evolution of music, what we would have called metal, what was then called alternative, what was then called kind of killed rock. And now country has kind of become the catch-all for, I think, anybody with an acoustic guitar. Yeah,
that's not too terribly far from the truth. I like to think that country, modern country, even if it doesn't sound, the word that we use is traditional.
Yeah,
it still has that storytelling element to it.
Yes.
But rock also is a very story driven genre. But you mentioned Bob Seger.
Yeah.
There's almost no greater rock storyteller than Bob Seger.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't say there's not, but
yeah,
he's definitely the upper echelon
Yeah.
of rock storytellers.
Yeah.
Up there with there's Dylan and Tom Petty and Mellencamp.
Well, yeah,
these
absolutely.
other guys. And they're all very, very different, but they're
Yeah.
all storytellers.
Right.
All right. So would you, Kyle English, would you then say that is what drew you to songwriting and country music? Was it and rock? Was it the storytelling aspect of it? Are you a storyteller?
What I love about it is it lets us be from where we are. And like, I think for the longest time, when you go back and you look at like, 90s, you always had to be from someplace else. And you would talk to these people that were always from someplace else. And country music finally let everybody who's kind of participating in the game be from where they are. And they can use their voice and not have to sound like they're from someplace else, not have to pretend.
Yeah.
And so there's it's allowing people to be more authentic, in who they are, which is really cool. Even though you're starting to get very, very stamped songs a lot of times, people are still able to come out and be who they are much more easily now.
I've never heard anybody say that before. And that's actually very profound, that country as a genre, as a format, is very open now to artists who are like where they're from.
Yeah. Even like the big named artists now are coming out with singles all talking about their roots, their hometown, and where they're from, and you're starting to see more and more of that, which is cool. Okay.
Well, then let's talk specifically then about Kyle English. The current single is Rest of My Life.
Yes.
And it's actually a kind of a tempoed song. It's got like a really good feel to it.
Yeah.
So what is that song about?
I think it's about, you go out, you meet somebody and they blow you away, and you're out, you're not expecting to meet somebody. And I think we all have gotten into the situation with a different person. And in that moment, you're changed. You're never the same person because you've gone out, you met this person, you've had this great evening, this great encounter, this great conversation. And like, you realize at that moment, you want to be with that person. That's the song says, for the rest of your life, and you're just like, wow, that's it. That's the person for me, and I think everybody can take it different. Maybe you had this great, amazing conversation and maybe it works out, or maybe like we were talking about with Al and the waitress left the note and the busboy got it instead of the waitress taking the phone number.
That's a whole other country song. You got to write that. There's a whole other country song.
Yeah.
So Rest of My Life is basically, it's that magic moment, that first magic moment where you're just like, this is right. I was nervous. We've all been there, first date.
Yeah. But we talked about you, professional first dater.
Yeah.
You bring us all in, sit us down.
I'm literally 51st dates, but I'm on like my 500th date. All right. Seriously. That's he.
You can go back and look at all the YouTube clips, right?
So very
of all your days.
Those Ohioans were from Detroit. Are they're real smart like that. All right. So Rest of My Life, is it on a new EP or is it on Indian Summer, or are you working on I mean, I know we're going to get to this. I always want to ask a question about COVID, but first let's tell anybody who wants to know, like, where can they find this song?
On Spotify right now, or YouTube, or KyleEnglishMusic.com, or Amazon, so all the major outlets, they can go and visit and find the song there. Right now, we are releasing some singles and just kind of figuring out where we want the music to go, and we're shaping that. And it's funny because, we're talking about that. I'm working with a new producer, and we're getting ready to, in the maybe January, February, somewhere in there, release a new single. So we're just planning all this stuff out and, massaging it and figuring it out.
Would you say that approach to creating music and releasing music was in any way fueled by the last 2 years? Just COVID shutting everything down and artists not being able to tour, and you're basically left to just sit and write songs.
Yeah. Well, that's what we learned. We learned that the hard way. We had this plan. We're like, okay, we're going to release the single. And then everybody was starting to release double disc. Like, oh, so that's what the pros did when they were off. For me, it was really good because I got to learn to play guitar better. I got to learn the craft better. And it gave me more time to think, like, I mean, these guys are great. But one thing that's really sad about the state of current country, as we've talked about, is that everything sounds the same.
Mm-hmm.
So like every single one of Luke Combs songs that have come out have been amazing, but they all sound exactly the same. You know, and so that's slightly worrisome too. You know, what's going to break that sort of format? Are we ever going to see anything like a Bohemian Rhapsody again? And where are we going to see that? You know?
Well, I think you're touching on something, and it's like the last 2 years have just sort of kind of forced people into this routine. That's a very small circle.
Yeah.
And it's forced artists and songwriters to just be kind of safe.
Yeah.
You know, and just in their thinking and in their process.
Yeah.
But after periods like this, that's usually when we see these great creative rebirth. You know, we're going to see artists like, from everybody from like Luke Combs all the way down to, the guy who doesn't even have his first song catalog yet.
Right.
And we're going to see them creating new amazing things that are just kind of fueled by, the energy of the freedom of.
Well, and if you look,
release.
I think it's interesting too, if you look at the younger millennials or whatever that next generation is. I'm not sure.
Zennials, is it?
Zennials.
I don't know. There's all these words. I can't keep up.
And it's terrifying because they are bringing back everything from the 90s. I mean, like everything, all the bad decisions any of us in this room, except for her, made, like the bad pants, the bleached blonde hair,
There's a reason we let that stuff die.
We did.
There's a reason it's gone. Don't bring it.
And they're trying too hard. I saw, remember the Freddy Krueger sweaters?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
The stripe,
As long as we don't see like parachute pants. That's like, I think that's my big from the 80s.
They're back.
No. What?
Not like the Hammer style. We're talking Hammer style.
Well, I was actually the Hammer style. That's one, but the parachute pants. I was talking about like the pants that were actually made out of parachute fabric. I used to actually, I used to wear those. But yeah, the Hammer pants. Yeah, no, I had those too, and those don't need to come back either. Even Hammer will tell you I don't wear those. No. Okay. All right, Kyle. So if folks want to know more about Kyle English and learn more about you and hear more music from you, old and new, where do they go and look for you?
KyleEnglishMusic.com.
Okay.
And we're in the process of getting that all, like I said, we're in the process of getting that all figured out, getting that all launched, getting that all rolling. And I think that was the funny thing, like we talked about COVID, is because it was always such a start, stop. Now, if you're the bigger boys, you could stop for a minute and you could start back up. But the littler guys like us, we had to figure out how are we going to do this, and so we're in the process of that. So everything is at KyleEnglishMusic.com. You come over, say hi, and we'll get everything rolling. All
right. So now a lot of people, they'll do websites, but their first place they'll look for you is like on Facebook or Instagram. Do you have the social media?
Oh yeah, you can link to everything from KyleEnglishMusic.com.
All right. So Kyle English, the single is Rest of My Life. It's a fun up tempo. If you want to hear it, be sure to call us at KIX96. We will happily play it for you. We're going to see if we can't coax Kyle into playing something live for us here in the studio before he leaves, but you can look for that video elsewhere here on our YouTube channel. And Kyle, thanks so much, fellow Michigander.
Awesome. Thank you.
Even if you did defect to Ohio.
I didn't. My parents took me. I could say they kidnapped me, but I don't need police coming looking for them.
I'm just
70 years later.
Mr. and Mrs. English was the Great Lakes State. Was it just not good enough for you?
No, I'll tell you this. The funny thing that they do, like when they go and they order anything, they get anything. Like we're talking Chinese, we're talking pizza, we're talking anything. They just go, well, this is not like Detroit Chinese or Detroit pizza. And I'm like, shouldn't the standard of the Chinese be that it tastes like Chinese?
Yeah.
No, it's got to be Detroit. Detroit. Yeah.
Oh, I totally understand that. Kyle English is our guest. If you want to hear Rest of My Life, make sure to call us KIX96, KyleEnglishMusic.com.net. .com. KyleEnglishMusic.com. Find him on all the social medias, and hopefully we can get him to come back and visit us.
Don't ask Jeeves.
Don't. Oh man, I'm pretty sure that this guy's my best friend now. I'm pretty sure he's my best friend. We'll see you next time on another artist video blog. KIX96country.com.
I wanna be the last one you kiss goodnight for the rest of